Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be exploring the great proficiency of fishing. So first, we're going to start out in any type of dry dock, you know, going about, and why you want to really kind of start out at a dry dock, especially your faction dry dock, is it gets what's called an Ezzy light buff, which increases your move speed because these fishing boats are really slow. Now, granted, it is nice. I got a legendary on here, little extra stuff I don't need, but that's, kind of fine. Inventory is a bit messy, but it is what it is. Here we got some stuff I can just eat out. So now comes the funnest part about fishing, especially for sport fishing. We gotta find ourselves a fishing hole. Now you might be asking, how do you find a fishing hole in this game? Well, easy enough. You just gotta, get off your wheel, because I don't got a party member. Get on this fish finder, and lo and behold, we found a school of fish pretty quickly, which is very beneficial to us. And just for some clarification, I'm playing on the archerage community server, as shown by the banner, over here. But let's go ahead and get fishing. Now you might be asking, what's the benefits of playing on the archerage server compared to live server? Well, first off, pertaining to fishing, your fishing level is directly tied to your income when you fish. So, say like a puffer fish pack, a small puffer fish, gonna go for like base value of the game is like 6 to 8 gold. In archerage, if you were a famed fisher, it goes for like 12 to 16 gold when you sell it, and that's just all based on proficiency. Not granted. Am I max proficiency? No. Am I a bit boosted? Yes. So we're at the fishing hole. You kind of always want to turn your boat towards the direction you want to be going, especially in a north-south direction, because once that you pull up to a fishing spot, you kind of want to orient your boat back to whichever direction you're going to be turning in at, and just so it's easy in and out. Like, takes 2 seconds to turn in the direction you need to, especially in north south. Fishing boats, especially, they get a speed boost going north south. And some more qualities of the fishing boat is that you get 2 gargantuan hooks on the back. You have 5 small and mediums in the water tank down here, and then of course you can carry your one on your back. Another nice feature of archerage is when you get to level 52, you get a new player pack. And what that new player pack does actually come with a fishing boat design. Actually, this is my fishing boat design that I got from the archerage team. So we're gonna take a minute, go out and catch some fish. You might be asking yourself, this is taking some time. It's a bit complicated. You got to get a boat, go out, find a fishing hole, which is not always guaranteed to be as quick as we found one right now. You might be asking, why do I want to be fishing? Well, it's infiniteless income. All you need is the boat, and not even that. You could do freshwater sport fishing for less general overall income, but it's still something to get you kind of going. It is very friendly to new players. You don't need a large amount of materials to make your boat. All very achievable. You can grind them out yourself even. There's a bunch of open world resources. Very easy to kind of AFK at with, the regular bait fishing. So you can get that fame title pretty quickly by just bait fishing if you really wanted to. Oh, hey, someone's raising a sunken ship, which is more content we might be covering later. But fishing is just kind of a general safe and easy option for a lot of new players, just because you don't need a lot of infrastructure to get started, and it's just a fun little mini game you can go at and it does reap reward. And we got a fish on the line. So this is the fishing minigame. It's a game that, Simon Says. Fish says, I need to go left, so you need to hit the left button. Fish says, I need to wait, so we're going to wait a second here. But it's probably more likely going to be doing give select when it has long pauses like that. Now, kind of a general tip for when you're beginning fishing that you will eventually pick up is you kind of want to spam the big reel in, because that's your big damage move. All the rest of these kind of just stop the fish from healing, because if you're not doing damage to the fish, it will start to regenerate. We're gonna skip the next move just to show you. And see, it's starting to heal back. It is very slowly, but I do actually want to net this fish, and if you don't cast within time of 30 seconds, you will actually lose the fish on the line. Now, if you were to cast something wrong, you get tension. If you had a tension of 20 and higher, your line will break and you will lose the fish. So you do kind of have to be on it, but there's a lot of leeway in the system to allow you to kind of AFK, look away for a second, or address something quickly if you need to. But when you get into the higher levels, you catch fish pretty quickly. And another kind of weird onset about fishing, sport fishing, is you gotta go out to the fish, pick up the fish pack, and then bring it back to your boat. And this is a fish pack. And that's going to be covered on a later video, the whole trade pack stuff. But for now, it's just you get reduced movement speed when carrying something called a pack. Now, fishing is usually best done in a group. Right now, just for this video, I'm not going to be fishing with any of my friends or my guildmates that I have, just because I want to make sure that we all know what's going where. And fishing has two different style of rods. You have your standard rods, your 30 rods, which do more damage, and then you have the flexible rods. In this video, we'll cover the perks and benefits of bait fishing compared to sport fishing, and why there is a difference between the two, and what the kind of key difference is, besides having to go out. And does save you the time, save you the trouble of watching me have to fight and get every fish. I'm gonna go ahead and just count to when we have a full boat and when we're going to turn in, and I will note out a couple different ways you can turn in your fish. So while we're out here, another really good benefit of the archerage server is that you have a free patron bonus that you can't see, but so it gives you access to increased labor rates and land rights and offline labor generation, and the labor generation is actually boosted on this server as well. So instead of getting about 5 labor per 5 minutes, it's boosted up to you get 40 labor per 5 minutes, which is really nice, because doing these longer tasks like something like fishing or running trade packs or just kind of doing events is that you accumulate a lot of extra labor, so you can stay a lot more active playing the game and actually doing content instead of having to run and be like, okay, I burned through all my labor today, time for me to go run dungeons because I have to if I want to continue playing the game, or go do PvE stuff. And so it does let you continuously kind of do what the content you want to do instead of having to kind of wait around. And if you do choose to go to the PvP events and PvE events, you do actually get rewarded with extra labor if you want that reward. And generally, it's kind of a pick and choose that what you want to do, and there's a lot of freedom on the server compared to online, where it's just like, oh boy, my labor ran out. Time for me to just go run my daily resets because I have to. On this server, you can kind of sit back a minute, farm out some stuff and get yourself set up, really kind of get to where you feel comfortable to start really doing those PvE, PvP events, and really kind of get a feel of what your class is. Especially because the XP rates are super boosted, so you're never going to be stuck in one class for too long. And you can easily kind of get to the level 52, 55, or, ancestral 70 relatively quickly compared to live servers where it's like getting 1 to 55 that's when you want to be starting to do some more not end game but mid game content where you can start going to raids and stuff and actually benefiting from being part of the nation, contributing to the nation as a whole. But you do have a lot of extra time to kind of do what you want, play what you want, do the content you really kind of enjoy. Like if you want to just run dungeons, run dungeons. Find them all here in the instant window. They even have some, unique ones. And you get a lot more resets and runs out of the army. And while we're in here, we have general raids, which is nice. You have the faction war. And then you have some of the submarines, like the Violent Maelstrom Arena. If you really like the idea of old school naval combat like Sea of Thieves, but you really don't like the gameplay or the feel, the fluidity of the game, Archerage has a really nice naval combat system. It feels really intuitive. You have to have people to man the cannons, all that general stuff. And they actually do have a supported naval combat arena that is custom to Archerage only. Go back to fishing, and as soon as we get this boat full, I'll show you how you can convert these fish from fish to money. That is going to happen now because I have 3 gargantuan for, and so we're gonna go to a fish stand, and I'll point out some things on the way. Yeah, watch out for the icebergs. They will destroy your ship. So coming up here on our left is what is called a breezy bungalow. And if you own one, or if one is set to public, they do have a fish stand that you can use to turn in. And that's pretty nifty because it's not always you have to run back to the dock. Diamond Shores, luckily enough, is pretty close to one another, the Aqua Housing Zone and the turn-in. And here we are at the turn-in. And I'm stuck in the boat. You're coming up with your fish. Just come over here, walk onto this dock. I love the design of this dock. And you come up to the fish stand. So the fish stand, you have a couple options. Sell your sport fish, which is counterintuitively, I know, not what you do. That's for freshwater. You can make it into a decoration that you can put in your house. Or sell regular fish. This is what we're going to do. Now, compared to live, you might be asking, why is there an extra setting? Well, because twice a week there's an event called the Fisher's Day. 5 quests, and each quest gives you, an award based on the amount of fish that you have that you turned in. My fish is glitched. What? We'll figure that out here in a second. But yeah, so twice a week, every Tuesday and Saturday, there's a mission in Marianople and Diamond Shores and some of the other continents. So there's one at every hub for the continent, for the factions, called the Fisher's Day event. Now, it is best to pick up Fisher's Day 1 through 5 all in a row because they are cumulative. So you can do all 5 back to back to back, and it's catching 18 fish, which helps you get Guild of Stars, Regrade Scrolls, Arcum Essence, which are all really kind of good mid game stuff so you can get yourself geared or get yourself a new design. And that's, really nice for them to put in because commonly a fishing boat, if I can find it at the store, is 500 Guild Stars. On live, that takes an absurdly long time to get. Now there is an option to get the fishing boat through the vocation system, which is catching, all the fry fish, catching 55 fish, catching 50 medium fish, catching 50 gargantuan fish. And that's a good system and all. But being able to just kind of come out the gates, be able to get a boat pretty quickly does help a lot of newer players. And that's a pretty rewarding system, and it actually feels like you're appreciated to play the game instead of just, hey, player give us your money. It feels like the team actually does care about the community and wants the community to stick around, especially newer players. Because I've played on live, and it is somewhat of a travesty how long it takes to kind of be able to do anything, especially if you're a solo player. And then some people really kind of like playing as a solo player, and that's completely doable on the archerage server. Where the live where it feels like a struggle. It feels like you're kind of forced into the party, forced into kind of get things done. Here you can kind of chill out, play the game at your own pace instead of having to go run to events, which can always kind of feel taxing. Where it's just like you get on and you're like, oh boy, I have to do my dailies. I have to, make sure I show up to this time at this event, and then have that kind of worry of like, oh, am I going to be able to progress in the game if I don't show up on time, or I'm not getting a raid. Here, you get a lot of benefits and you get a lot of leeway compared to live server. Well, while we're at the dock, let's cover the topic of bait fishing. So bait fishing, you have to have your fishing pole equipped near any source of water, and you need bait, which is typically bait worms. Bait worms can be grown out of worm composite. I don't think I have any in my inventory to show you, but it is the easiest way to be able to kind of just get your fishing up, because you can just get up, walk away, and your character will continue to do this over and over again, provided you did right click to activate auto fishing. And you might be asking, well, why would I want to do that? Well, after every so many odd fish, you get what is called, you can use blue salt knives to process into Dawnlake essence, which is needed for other stuff in the game. So like for this, you need 100 of this style of fish, 10 blue salt knives, and you get some Dawnlake essence. Pretty good. And that can be used to make regrade scrolls and some other things. And I think that's the end of this video. If you find yourself wanting to, play an MMO that feels like, a classic MMO, not too grindy, you get a lot of options, and you kind of just want to vibe, play at your own pace, I would really consider the archerage server, because you get a lot of benefits, and it's really kind of slow, and you can do things at your own pace. And that's it from me. See y'all out there.